I am really excited to be on another masterclass. It's been a while. There's a lot of things that have been happening, and it's a crazy time. So it's nice to have a little bit of normalcy. I think this is something we've enjoyed doing in the past, getting some really good information out for other business owners, just on different ways to grow their business. Really good information. There's so much information thrown at you daily that we love to just focus on things that you can implement right away. And so we're excited. We have Sean here. Sean is from Nice Job. We love Nice Job. They're a really, really great service we've been using for a while now, so we know the benefits of it. We've actually experienced it ourselves. A little bit about Nice Job real quick. So it's an easy way for small home service businesses to get the reputation that they deserve. So it's a software, gets you more reviews, referrals, and sales through automations, through reputation marketing. And so Sean is the first ever community marketing manager for Nice Job. Is that right?
Yeah, it's true. Started in September, the first time they had a role like this at the company.
Awesome. Yeah, and it looks like you are best known for your work in marketing and engagement for globally known organizations like the Philadelphia Flyers, World Team Tennis, and USA Rugby Sevens. So lots of sports.
Yeah, so sports is my background, and I have plenty of stories, believable and unbelievable, but all true from that era. But part of the reason I ended up shifting to Nice Job was, one, the company culture at Nice Job really aligned a bit better with where I was at in my life and my career. But additionally, I enjoy kind of helping people and engaging communities. In the sports world, you are kind of given a grand stage. But the small business community, you have the same amount of passion. So for me, it was, a little bit unnatural transition going from, kind of the sports level to the small business owners, but where the kind of similar sort of qualities where it's people about passion of what they're doing. And if I can bring them together and have them kind of grow together, then it's been a good day for me. So that's how I ended up in the sports world, mascots, goofiness, entertainment, now here at Nice Job.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yes, we're super excited to have you. So what Sean's going to be talking about today is, I think, a very important topic, especially for this time. As we all well know, the world is totally shooken up and things are all a little bit different than we're used to. But one thing that is the same is that it's still the very best way to grow and build and nurture your business is by developing, a fan base among your clients and getting reviews and sharing those with others. And I mean, referrals are still the very best way to do business. So the topic we're going to talk about today is tips on building a fan base, navigating through a crisis, using your reviews and reputation. And one thing I love that Sean said while we were getting ready to get on here today is, we're so used to listening to all these different government officials and health professionals and all, giving good advice, giving good things here and there. But, it's nice to hear things just from your friend and your neighbor, if not more now than ever, because you can't talk to them all the time face to face. So if you're hearing from them in other ways about different things that are helping them right now, we're kind of all in this crisis anxiety mode. So hearing from others what's working and how, what different businesses and tools and services they're using to help them right now is maybe more valuable than it's ever been.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario as everyone, or in many areas, a lot of people have been kind of stuck inside, safe inside, probably the better way to phrase that there. But it kind of struck me as when you go away to, a college or a university, or you go away for a summer camp or something like that, is you end up in your own little world and it becomes like your everyday. But then when you go back home and you go back to your community, you're kind of reminded of like, oh yeah, I forgot how much I love the food here. Or, I forgot, my goofy neighbor, anything like that. And you have this real appreciation and a real love. And as you grow older, that's when people maybe move to different cities, different locations. They kind of, take a little pride of home with them. We're going to kind of see that feeling start to come back a bit as, we're all kind of inside. You're watching everything play out on a national scale and you're trying to check in, with your neighbors, your friends, your family, and see kind of what they're doing. But as we start to come back out and we start to get back into, as you mentioned, a normal sort of behavior, for me, a normal thing is seeing work trucks in my neighborhood, is going by and seeing people on roofs, cleaning windows, mowing lawns, all that sort of activity. That's a vibrancy, which I like about my community, and I'd be great to get back there. So just for me in particular, I'm eager to not only, you know, help my fellow small businesses, you know, around my community, but I also want to see that vibrancy come back. And that's when you talked about, you know, the local feeling. It's always been important. Word of mouth marketing has always been, you know, really king. Everyone's kind of balks at that a bit, but it really has been king, because if you have bad word of mouth going around, the best ads usually don't end up saving you for long enough. You know, the best sort of 5 rounds don't really end up saving you enough. And if you have a great reputation, that can be enough to get you through situations, even like what we're seeing now. This is unprecedented. This is not something that, you know, most business owners had to go through. Even the, you know, recession in the States around, you know, 2008 was a different sort of animal, because while it was a financial, it wasn't a public health. You know, I have some high risk family members in my home that even as we kind of start maybe coming out and doing some things, they're still going to be, you know, kind of stuck inside and kind of locked down, you know, perhaps unable to return, you know, to their office job or anything like that. While they have the ability to work from home, they may not be able to go to that space again, given their risk. So as we kind of all come through this, reputation starts playing a part, because everyone's also seeing how people are reacting during this time. Wherever you fall on the political spectrum, wherever you fall with your opinion, is you're kind of watching how people react, whether it's look at the goofy homemade mask someone wore. You know, you see like a couple of those memes going around where people kind of, you know, overdress like they're going through a hurricane. Or you might see people, you know, like Google reviews, for example, temporarily stopped publishing because people were out working under the laws and guidelines, the regulations. They were practicing social distancing. They were working outside, say they were doing exterior cleaning or something like that. And they started getting 1-star reviews because people are saying, well, why are you open? Even though they were following all the rules. So everyone is keeping an eye on one another and kind of judging. And that's what I'm going to talk about a bit today, is your reputation. If you kind of can put it in a right frame of mind now, and you're constantly building and constantly growing it, people will also see how you're reacting now. So if you're a shut down business, how you respond to your public now will pay dividends once you get to the light at the end of the tunnel.
You know, I agree with that 100%. And, you know, we've already seen a little bit of that with our own clientele, and with the calls that have been coming into us, is just the ones that are keeping that communication open with their clients, even if they're closed, and just offering support and help. As we've seen a little bit of back opening up and things like that, it's just had great dividends, that you're staying on people's minds, even if they can't hire you right at this moment. They're thinking of you though, and they're remembering you, and it creates that loyalty.
Yeah, it shows you're a member of the community. You know, we use the term fan base. It kind of gets thrown around as someone that kind of came where it's perhaps most known, coming from the sports world. I think that's when you think of fan base, perhaps where a lot of people jump immediately. I'd love to ask you two what comes to mind when you think of a fan base, when you hear that term.
I have a quick question first. So
Yeah.
do you play sports yourself? I'm just curious. What's your sport?
Yeah, so I'm a hockey player. You know, let's kind of get it out. Obviously not at the rinks, you know, now. But yeah, so I try to be I participate in the sports and I try my best.
That's very cool.
However, some people may see some of what I'm doing out there and not think athleticism might not be the first thing that comes to mind. But no, I'm a hockey player, hockey coach, you know, played some, you know, baseball back in the day, but yeah, I'm very sports oriented. So that's why I was a little surprised when I jumped from that business. But it's the mindset, the mentality, and I almost rely on my coaching sort of background to kind of break into, you know, really it's problem solving. Like sports is problem solving at a high speed level.
That's true. Okay, and now I'm trying to remember the question you asked. Sorry, before I was just like, I wonder what he plays.
No, it's all right. But yeah, when you hear fan base, like what comes to mind? What are your first thoughts when you hear that phrase?
Well, you know, for me, what I was thinking, well, I played a lot of sports in high school, lots of sports. And so obviously fans are people who follow you and really like to watch you and see what you do. But then also what comes to mind a lot is celebrities, public figures, people that you see every day. You're watching their every move. You want to see what they like, what they don't like, but you also want to see what others think about them. So yeah, that's kind of the first thing that comes to mind when I think about fans.
Okay.
I think the image that comes to my mind is, I mean, going off that sports thing, is the dude with his shirt off, his chest all painted, his face painted, and he's just like die hard, like he he or she, you know, just their whole life is based around when these games are and telling, you know, talking to all their friends about it. And so I guess when it, as it relates to business as well, is just someone who's got like a, you know, a microphone to, or a, you know, what's the word I'm looking for, just like they want to tell everyone about this amazing team or this amazing company, like they are your number one fan, and you can have lots of number one fans.
Yeah, for sure. Would you guys mind if I share my screen here?
Oh, for sure.
I'm gonna try. I was going back and forth on whether I wanted to do slides because I think sometimes they get a bit too distracting. So are you guys seeing my screen here? It should be purple, studying fandom. Yeah, so talk a little bit about kind of like where I came from at first and why I feel like I can be an authority just on fan bases in general. That's me there, shooting out t-shirts in Las Vegas during the Rugby World Series. Over 70,000 over the weekend, and I was the person that had to rally, engage them, came from all over the world to watch these elite athletes. And, you know, it's been a decade-long pursuit of mine to motivate these individuals into action. So when you go to a sports event or something like that, you see a lot of these promotions, t-shirt tosses, you know, goofy games, but there's also sometimes a sponsor involved with them. Or, you know, if in this instance, it was a tournament, when I worked for teams where it was a home field advantage, you're trying to get the crowd louder, you're trying to get the crowd engaged. And all of these roles that I had were kind of these front facing roles where I was out front, you know, the last line, the first, you know, interaction that they had. But additionally, I was the culmination of a ton of marketing efforts, a ton of marketing research. And it kind of started with like the grassroots level. So for me, it was trying to find the real core of these fan bases and bring them together, and then starting these programs, starting these initiatives, you know, to interact with them. And the one thing that I've learned that the sports industry does different than most other is they do not have a mostly linear path for their consumers. They really lay them out on a quadrant, and at certain times they market to certain quadrants, and other times they ignore certain quadrants. They don't try to activate them at all. And the best example I sort of give is there are some fans that have a definition of what it means to be a fan. Have you ever heard the old sort of joke deal like, oh, you're a fan of so-and-so? Well, who was the quarterback in '84 then? And you're like, I don't know. Like, I'm from this city and I like this team, so I just kind of go like, oh, well, you don't know who the assistant coach was. Dude, I bought the same amount of merch you did. I have the same amount of monetary investment as you do. Like, who's to say you can't be a fan? Well, if you're going to say you have a new player, right? A new player is kind of similar to a new product. There are some fans that are going to know about this player before you even announce it. They're going to want to know everything more about it. They're going to know how you're going to use them, things like that. And other fans are going to be like, oh, cool. Is he or she going to help us win? Great, I'm in. So fans have different sort of mentalities and different expectations, and the same comes for your client base. There are some people within your client base that don't care how you do it. They just care that you get it done. There are other ones that want to be, you know, a certain type of consumer that wants to do a ton of research prior and wants to know the ins and outs, the techniques. A big thing we're seeing about lately is sustainable companies. If you're not a sustainable company now, you're going to have a long road ahead of you because that is a huge thing in consumers' minds. But other people aren't familiar with sustainable practices, may not know, and they kind of just trust you to be the expert and do the right thing with it. What it all comes down to is people aren't sports organizations. So they want to know, well, why do I need fans? And the answer is really simple, is that fans are an upgrade from loyal customers. Loyal customers have a shelf life. It's really hard to think about that, but loyal customers can still be swayed. What fans are someone that they kind of care, they're invested, but they go a little above and beyond just the loyal customers. In fact, they're the ultimate consumers. They not only want to deal with your product, they want to know about you, the individual. They want to know about your brand. They want to know about what you're doing outside of it. And the second point, you can see on my screen here, it's like it provides social validation. If you want to go, I'll sell just a tiny bit. I'm going to say something and it's going to cause more questions than answers. But my career generally started by standing up and dancing at a hockey game. And the way it kind of grew from there was I made it safe for other people to want to be that passionate. And again, there's a whole history there. That's another masterclass. But it was that social validation. So, oh, this person's okay. That person's okay. The reason that they have fans wearing the same colors, and the reason they brand it, originally is for TV, so you can tell one team from the other. But now it's to build this collection, to build this validation that any way that you want to cheer on the team is worthwhile. The same way is it worth hiring this company? Well, so-and-so did, and this is why they did it. You go like that. And then finally, a great channel for feedback. I'm from Philadelphia. People in Philadelphia are great at giving feedback, usually loudly and passionately, and sometimes too loudly and sometimes too passionately. But by getting that feedback, we've seen it time and time change things within Philadelphia, whether it's government, whether it's sports, whether it's policy, whether it's like community names. A lot of great things came from that passion, and that feedback for a business is huge. And fans will give you a different style of feedback, but as long as you have that open channel, which of course, like a customer review for one, an email address where people can put suggestions or put complaints or anything like that, is another good example. If you have an open feedback channel, you'll start to develop fans, because as they see that that channel is two-way, they realize that their passion is validated. And so for me, that's where, fans they care more about the job being done. They take pride in that relationship, but they want the best for you as well as them. And I'll stop sharing for a moment, but the reason I say they want the best for you as well as them is that there's some customers out there that want to have that bit of pride to know that they're using the best. And if you're not the best, you're not serving that little ego stroke for them. There's other people that want to just have the reliability. They don't care if you're the best or the worst. They like your price. They like the way you do it, things like that. They just want to know when they pick up the phone and call that you'll be able to do that. There's some that like, learning and evolving, and they want you to be the best at what you do so that they can also grow and gain more knowledge. So it really is a two-way street, and fans that don't care about their team really are just kind of casual observers. So customers that don't care about their business or don't care about the growth or the strength of their business may not fall in that fan category. They'll still be clients you should market to. They'll still be clients that you should, want to bring into your fold. But they're going to be ones that in a time like this, as things are really unsure, they may not be the ones that you want to focus on.
One thing that I was thinking about as you were talking there, and it's interesting. I've never really thought about like levels of loyalty, like you brought out there, like your loyal customer versus your fan. I like that thought of it. And I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, so say you're a fan of a certain player on a hockey team and they get traded. Well, even if they're on a different team, you are going to be a fan of them wherever they go because you love them. And so right now, where a lot of companies are having to pivot and slightly maybe change their product or service with the times, if you have those loyal fans, they're going to pivot with you. Whereas your customers that are maybe just there more for the service, which again isn't bad, but they'll be there waiting for you when you come back with that particular service, maybe rather than whatever you're doing, I want to be there because you always do excellent work. You always produce excellent things and do great service. So I am going to, wherever you go, I'm going to be there with you, kind of thing.
Yeah, and there's some customers, a great example, from the sports world to kind of translate through is there are some of your customers that would be very, very good at helping you win a fans choice contest, like a best of, your city where it's voted on by your customer clients. There's some people that go, yeah, I'll take the extra time. I'll log on. I'll vote through. I'll do that. I'll tell everybody to vote through it. And there's other customers, loyal customers that are regular, that you service their home, multiple times a year, and they respond to the newsletter thing, and they're always going to, and they are a consistent source of income that will not take an extra second to vote in that contest. Now, both of them can make you the same amount of money. At the end of the day, when you look at your spreadsheet, you look at your books, they can have the same client value, but one can get you a little bit more and one kind of can't. Now, it's not to kind of pin them against one another, but this is a situation where you kind of want to start identifying, well, who is the person that will go above and beyond in small little ways? For us, the reason at Nice Job, when we talked about customer reviews, and for those not familiar, it's an automated process, starts with a text message, follows up with up to 3 emails. But our main goal in developing the software to get you the reputation you deserve was to make it easy on both ends. We didn't want you to spend a ton of time programming or anything like that, automate, set, forget it. But we wanted the customers, if they want to leave you a customer review, if they're happy with what they're doing, to have it be like, click, click, done. they go straight through. Now, in the instance, the reason we start with a text is because you hit that moment of, happiness. You just finished the job, you tell them to send them a text. Well, now a text and a couple of emails is perfectly contactless. So it's evolved for the current time. But that kind of feedback and that quick process also gives you the opportunity, say your business is shut down, to go through your client list and perhaps ask for a review at this point. This is a way that they can help you that is completely free for them and is completely, it's not time consuming. It's not a big deal for them. And there's going to be some of those people that would take the extra effort, they'll do it. Perhaps the person that won't take the extra effort, just reminding them that it's 2 clicks, 5 stars, anything like that, it could get them involved. So that's how you can kind of reach out. That'd be the first step. If you're a business that's not really getting consistent works or any, jobs at the moment, is I would reach out to your old customers, check in with them, see how they're doing, see how things are going in their particular neighborhood, their particular instance. But then ask them, say, we want to keep this community strong. I understand that either we can't come out and service, or you may not be in a position, because you've been laid off or anything like that, you can hire us. But if you leave us a customer review, and an honest, fair customer review, that'll help us as we start to come back, that we can talk about people we've serviced before, or, especially that whole thing, like everyone that's stuck in their house, safe in their house right now, their whole view is the other homes around them. It's a great way to sort of be like, hey, if you've been staring at your neighbor, I cleaned his windows, and people that you have cleaned their windows, you can even have a little touch of humor, be like, hey, I hope I did a good enough job that you had a completely unobstructed view of the outside world, even if you can't go enjoy it fully. Like, I hope I've made your windows clean enough that, your family is able to enjoy kind of these crazy times. And I think a lot of people will be willing to do that. Fundraisers, buying t-shirts, these donating causes. If you have the means to do that as a consumer, I highly recommend you would, help out. But that's a free, easy option with no real strings attached, is gathering old reviews. And at Nice Job, we try to make that process as easy as possible. So whether you're doing it job by job, or in a situation like this where you're pivoting and looking for old reviews, we give you kind of a simple process to go through that. But customer reviews and building that reputation can absolutely still be done, even if you're not performing work at the moment, which, unfortunately there's some out there in that situation.
And one thing I'm curious about, I know you mentioned, and probably normally the ideal time is right after, something they just had service with you, and so they're super excited about it. In this situation where you're talking about even reaching out to ones that you maybe serviced a little bit ago, what have you found are the best ways to approach and ask for it, so it's not like this awkward thing like, oh, by the way, remember me, and can you give me a review?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is vulnerability. And what I mean by that is, you have to always approach in an honest sort of way. If you're watching, this masterclass, or, any of the talks that we're having on our Nice Job page, or any of the other masterclasses you guys are doing, and you're sitting here trying to figure out a tactic or a strategy that's going to work, I don't know right now there's anything that cold will work. I think you need to reach out. We call it a temperature check when we have our market meetings, things like that. Figure out where your community is at, but then go back and really talk about why you do what you do. I believe most people get into service business because they either like performing the service, or they understand the effect it can have on the community, and they understand. Communities are going to go through some rebuilding. There's some small businesses that aren't going to make it all the way through. I think the entrepreneurs will be okay, but unfortunately they may have the drawing board a little bit or go back. But housing and restaurants and a lot of these other industries are going to be, needing to rely on one another to kind of build back up. So the strategy we've kind of had is, reach out and connect. That's one, to stay top of mind. Don't immediately go cold. Hey, Steve, do you remember, hope you give us a review. I think you check in and say, hey, we hope your family is safe. We hope you're healthy, to give you kind of an update. We are still working and following social distancing guidelines, or unfortunately, we've had to temporarily, scale back our operations, or, hey, just so you know, we're still kind of business as usual, to say like, but it's not ringing as much. You can make whatever your situation is, identify with them, and then say, if you're looking for some ways to help some small businesses, we would recommend leaving a review for some businesses if you love. If you happen to love our business, here's a chance to leave a review. But really just go out and spread the love. So you're not saying, hey, I need a review. you're saying, as a small business owner, small businesses would love your reviews. If you weren't happy with my job, go leave it for your local pizza place. Go leave it for your coffee shop. Go leave it for your, your vinyl, your record store. Leave a review there. If you weren't happy with me, here's a way to do it, through Nice Job, quick, easy, blah, blah, blah. Here's the link straight up. But that's a way to kind of make it, your ask is not asking for you personally, because people might not be as cooperative with that. You ask as a member of the community, because the last thing you want is to kind of come back and you kind of be the only business standing. I know it sounds great for a while, but if you're in a community where a lot of businesses have failed, you're probably not in a great economic sort of situation, and that's not going to be great for the growth of your business. Every business can kind of come together. Competitors, different industries, anything like that, can come together for the greater good, the common good, and spread this love around. So my suggestion would be, if you reach out to old clients, just tell them that you're suggesting leaving reviews, and if they'd like to, here's how they can do it for you.
I love that idea. I think everyone's really tender-hearted right now. I mean, even this morning, one of our clients did a radio spot on donating meals to healthcare workers, which is awesome. And our jail receptionists, they were just like taken back by how many calls came in and how much people were willing to donate. And it was just like one of the coolest campaigns we've ever helped out with, just because I love seeing people's good hearts. But what really hit me about it is, we're at this time where everyone's always, very giving. I think as humans, we are nature like that. But when it comes to crisis and things like that, I think we even more open up our hearts. And what's wonderful about this kind of thing, and what you were saying of just, hey, give a review to any small business. It's a way to invite people. Everyone's wondering, what can I do to help? I'm stuck at home, but I want to help. I don't know how to sew. I can't make masks or this or that. So that's a great way to say, hey, here's an opportunity, go review, any of the small businesses around you. And then in turn, hopefully they'll do that to you. I absolutely love that idea. I think it's a fantastic idea.
And there's two things that you said within there. It's great is people, you talk about being like kind-hearted. That's when I talk about looking at how people react through this. If you've sent the email or you sent the message, and we've gotten a ton of them, where, hey, we're in this together, and this is why you should buy a truck today. Like that tone deaf little thing, it comes off really bad. But right now, everyone is unsure what to say. It's kind of, if you've been in the unfortunate situation where you've had to go, when either someone's passed away or you're consoling a friend after a breakup or something like that, there's that awkwardness, like, there, like you want to say something, you want it, but you're not quite sure. And usually a lot of those situations, what do you go to? You end up just kind of opening your heart, and you come out and you kind of go with it. And that's, I think, another point you brought on is a great thing for you to do is, you are the professional in your area. If you can't go service someone's home, I know, sometimes we talk about making videos or tutorials or things like that, but or people get nervous because they're like, well, I'm not a video person, or I don't know how to make a manual. But just share your expertise, share it in the rawest sort of way. A touch point with your customers be very helpful is, hey, I know I can't come, your maid serves, I can't come clean your kitchen counters, but here's some tips that we use, or here's some great things. And people, I've heard this when I've kind of presented this option before, they go, well, yeah, but if people can clean their own windows or, mop their own floors, then why would they hire me? And I remind them, again, another sports reference, there's professionals that teach people how to hit a baseball. But if I was in a do or die situation, I need someone to hit a baseball, I'm not going to go try it myself. I saw all the tips. I have my hands the right way. I'm not going to do that. So a lot of people get a greater appreciation for what they do, and that potentially could add some value to what you do. They might have had you perform the service out of convenience, but once they realize the in-depth steps that you take to get it as good as you do, that adds value, and that adds a little bit more of that validation, that social proof. Like, oh, why do you hire someone to vacuum, or why do you hire someone to do your carpets? I tried it. I got the rug doctor from my cousin, and I poured the stuff in, and it was everywhere. And then I didn't put the dog away, and he ran across it again. So you know what? Like, I know what it takes now. And then the question might follow up, like, wait, you know how to use that machine? Well, no, actually, it sent me a little YouTube link, and figure it out. And the other thing about being a professional with your clients is, their homes. It's not YouTube how to clean window. It's, oh, hey, Clyde, I know you have that 18th century window in the corner. Here's how I usually tackle it. I know you're going to start seeing the little thing in the corner. just try your best. Like, I know I have this tool, but perhaps you do. Like, you can give specific. You are a helpline, a hotline. You ever have a weird product and you see the little helpline at the bottom and you're like, who's calling the dishwasher tab people? Like, who does that? Well, you kind of now have become those people. You are the expert in your field. Everyone is going to look for ways to kind of DIY, and teaching them the skills shows that you are there for the right reasons. It shows that you are there to actually help people in your community and not just make a dollar. People understand that, you know, you're a business owner, you're trying to grow, you're trying to, you know, make some profit, but at your core, you're performing a service, and that's how you can build some value. And again, you're going to touch some fans. The DIYers out there might be customers that will never really get loyal because they might always have an inspiration they can do it themselves. Well, teaching them how to do it themselves and them kind of finding out they can't may build a little loyalty, and they'll go try, you know, something else DIY. They'll go try a puzzle or, you know, something of that nature. So there's definite ways to you know, come from a position and where you can stay top of mind because you're communicating with your clients, but not fall into that trope that some businesses have fallen into of, okay, we have to hold our hands like this, and we have to do, we're in this together, and we have to have the soft fade, but really we're selling a product. Sell your business, because selling products right now at a time like this is extremely difficult. And I don't know if that's going to help your reputation, and reputation, as I said, is going to get you through this. That's going to help you however deep that tunnel is, whatever that light looks like at the end. I think it's brighter. I think it's more vibrant. If anything, can get you a little bit of a running start. Maybe it doesn't move the timeline. Just because you're ready to go doesn't mean the world may be ready to go. But when it's there, you kind of want to make sure you're hitting the gate running fast.
You know what you said that is so interesting is it amazes me that I think a lot of people in the home service industries don't like to share information and inside tips like that. But this whole DIY craze started years ago. And I'm a huge DIYer. Ask Michelle. I like to make everything. I like to try everything myself first before I will hire someone to do it. But when I see someone who is a professional that shares their knowledge, I try it and I appreciate them and I remember them. And that's usually who I turn to either purchase products that they recommended, or if it's a service, have them come to my house. And so I think a lot of these business owners don't fully understand that. But I have seen some really good ones. Keith Kalfas is amazing at showing just different things on the inside of his business. And when you can show customers a little bit of the, you know, transparency inside of what you do, they're not going to go start up their own window cleaning business and start cleaning everybody's windows. You know, if they do, they're not your ideal customer, obviously, but they become fans essentially. And the crazy thing about right now is it's insane. We're all online. All day long. We're watching things, we're focusing, you know, social media, everything. So that's where you need to be. And I'm seeing your face every day. I'm going to remember it when this starts to kind of transition back to normalcy. There are certain things I'm going to remember that I've seen through this time that will stick with me. And so it's a great opportunity right now to make those DIY videos. If someone would send me one to clean my window tracks, I'll probably hire them to come clean my windows after this is all over, because I need those things cleaned because I'm staring outside all day. I can't go outside all the time. So I see my window tracks all day long.
Yeah. And Nicole, you touched on something, and Michelle, you said at the top, you know, referrals are big. So Nicole, you go, you see that video, you clean your own window track, and you're like, whoa, I thought I had a great career going, but I think I'm a window person now. You go, you do it. You become successful, and you know, you learn that one YouTube video, and you go and you become a successful client or a successful business owner. Then all of a sudden you have a situation where someone calls you and wants to hire you, and you're unavailable. There's nothing you can do, and your business is going so great that, you know, really it's going to stink not be able to service a customer, but you don't really kind of need it from your business standpoint. Who might come to mind if they ask you, well, who else should I go to? Probably the person that taught you.
Right.
The same way, you know, like chefs will refer other restaurants, and it's because like, oh, well, this person taught me and he got to know that. So you now start building a partnership, start building relationships. So yes, if the worst case scenario happens that your most active spending customer watches your YouTube video and becomes a successful competitor, well, one, have faith in your own ability that you'll always be able to be the professional. You taught them. You're ahead. You have the leg up. Just keep her going. keep evolving, keep learning. But if, at the very least, if you get neck and neck and neck, just know that if your competitor that you taught, you made, your new protege, they're probably going to refer you first. And now you're in the top 2. And if you're in the top 2 of your field, the top, 2 in your market, your community, you're probably doing pretty well. And yeah, maybe you slipped from one, but I also know that that's one of your customers. I guarantee there's another one of your customers that tried the DIY and made it way worse, and now is going to call you to fix it and never try it themselves again. So again, the worst case scenario is you got to hope that that person's loyal enough to refer. The best case scenario is you add more value to your services. People might have thought, oh, you know what, I would hire you once or twice because I thought you were kind of expensive. But then I did it myself after I was stuck inside for 2 months, and I would pay you way more. Please don't charge me that much, but I would pay you way more. It will add value in that sense. And everything we kind of talk about goes back to this word of mouth and goes back to this sort of proof thing. And a little bit of, walking the walk and talking the talk is we came out with a new product called Engage that we've been working on for a couple of months that we kind of weren't going to put out for free. And we ended up putting it out for free and making it a free product for anyone. Even if you're not a Nice Job user, you can still add it to your website. The reason that we did that is because we had a deep conversation. We looked at each other, through our virtual eyes because we can't get in the same room. And we said, well, look, when people look back and see how we reacted during COVID, what do they want to see? Do they want to see how we reacted to it? And us kind of taking a risk and taking a product that we could have easily charged for and putting out for free might not have been the smartest overall, but we'd rather, as I mentioned, have businesses be able to thrive and continue and push forward, because that will help our business. That's going to help other businesses. That's going to help other communities. That'll help future business owners to maybe find their way to Nice Job, things like that. So yes, is there a little strategic in it? I don't think anyone, would think otherwise. But part of the reason we did it was we wanted to make sure that we were constantly helping in this situation. So when people look back to see how we reacted, it was Nice Job saw when our customers, our clients in our industries were looking for help, we did, what we could to try to help them. And that's the same thing with those YouTube videos. Putting that out for free, it might seem like you're sharing a resource that you could easily charge for. You could charge a class about how to clean windows. But by putting out for free, taking a bit of risk in that sense that yes, your information, your expertise is going out free of charge. More often than not, people will look back and see that you weren't sitting there going, everyone's whatever is getting dirty or everything's going to need to be fixed. Is you went there and said, hey, if I was in my own house and I couldn't get that fixed, I would want that to be fixed. So I can't help you. Here's the best I can do with it.
I love that. I think in general, good karma is whatever you send out there, it's going to come back to you. So if you're giving, people are going to feel that and remember that and come back. So I totally love that. But Sean, and I actually wanted to bring that up. So I'm glad you brought it up because Curtis, I was talking to him from Nice Job the other day. He was saying a little bit more about what the Engage does. And I was like, that is the coolest thing. So where it is a free thing, can you tell everyone what that is and what it will do on their website and how
So sorry to cut you off there. Curtis got a chance to do a couple streams for us, like right after release it, he got a chance to go out there. So he got to have all the excitement and everything. So I'm really geared up to, finally get to talk a little bit about it. But Engage is, it's a widget that you'll add to your website. And what it does, it brings instant credibility, instant social validation to your website. So it's a small little notification. Like if you see, let's see if I do it correctly in the right way, the Nice Job here kind of in the corner, it's nice and small. It's be a small little widget that pops up. And what it does, it displays your most recent reviews or your most recent bookings if you have a connected CRM. And it'll say, Brett left a 5-star review, 1 day ago. And someone could click into that and see your latest reviews. But what it does from the kind of the psychological standpoint or why, when we look at it and we studied it and we optimize it, it's going to increase your engagement rate or your conversion rate, on your website, which is super important. Remind me to mention that too, Michelle. But what it's going to do is that as they're scanning through and they're looking at your photos and they're seeing your services, maybe looking at your pricing, anything like that, it's that little credibility, that social proof, because it's a real live review. They can click through and find the platform it was left on, but it kind of makes it seem like there's a little social chatter going on as they're evaluating. So they're not just on your website and thinking like, okay, maybe what I'm missing. What they're seeing, since it's popping up, every couple of seconds, it's non-intrusive, but it will get some attention. because it's doing that, it kind of shows that, hey, these are real people using this business. This person's out and is relevant. And it just gives that little nudge over the top. You know, you're still going to need to have a website with clear call to actions. You know, it's got to be, you know, your website breaking it down. Like when we make convert websites, you know, you have the on-page SEO optimization, you have the clear photos, you know, you have reviews already integrated. That extra little bit of live engagement, hence the name, that little bit of live little notification not only makes your website kind of look a bit better, but it raises your conversion rate because it gets them in the mindset of like, well, you know, what are you waiting for? You think you're about ready to do it? Well, everyone else is kind of already doing it. And the reason, like I said, that we made it free is, while it's going to add and really, you know, add value and raise your conversion rate, right now, it'd be so helpful just to know that it's kind of like a pulse. It's a little relevancy. It shows that you're current. And we feel that, you know, if you add this on your website now, even if you're perhaps not booking as many jobs, or even if you're on a little bit of a kind of a shutdown, it shows that just recently people were talking about you. And you even can go the extra step by saying, hey, you know, if you're reaching out to those old clients and they're like, yeah, I'll leave you a review, say, put some details in there, you know, talk about your home, or talk about this. And so when people see that little notification come up, they can click, they go through, is they could see very detailed reviews left from clients, you know, really from any time frame. But the reason we wanted to be the most latest reviews and latest bookings was that kind of shows that this is a business that's ready for your business, and this is a business that's out there and is active. And if you're not, the way it can still work for you is that it's a memorable thing on your website that's not a crazy pop-up you got to click out of, or it's not some animation that may load but not quite so much on mobile. It's clean, it's efficient, it's simple, and it provides instant credibility and will raise the conversion rate on your website.
I love that. It reminds me when you're on like hotels.com or something and it says, you know, this many people just booked this, and you're like, oh, well, it must be a great hotel because people just booked this just barely now. So it's that same mentality of this is people. I mean, we're social creatures. We watch what other people do and we follow suit. And so everyone's buying toilet paper. I must need toilet paper. I mean, it's that, you know, that mentality of this is what I should be doing. So,
and that's why we added that, you know, it's the latest reviews. And when you click in, you'll see it. So a lot of those, it's, you know, every so often I'll be looking up something and they'll be like, oh, there's 34 people looking at this hotel outside of Edmonton. And I'm like, well, really? Like, come on. Like, I'm there for an obscure conference. What's really going on? Like, what am I missing? But a lot of those things, you know, are aggregated sort of things, and they're kind of designed to put pressure. This isn't designed to put pressure. This isn't like, oh, Brett's about to book, like, you better book. This is, hey, this is someone that did it, you know? So it's almost like on those hotel sites, if while you were looking at it, instead of saying 15 people are looking at this hotel, if it came up and it's like, Sally with 2 kids loved the pool. I'm like, oh, man, I didn't even think about the pool with the kids. Like, yeah, instantly. So that's how we kind of designed Engage. So yeah, it's similar to some things you've seen, but we're really, really proud of it. And we're, you know, like I said, we're excited to kind of see it jump on, you know, more people's websites. And even though, as I said, if you don't use NiceJob, you're still able to put it on your site. If you don't have a convert site, it can integrate directly with your site. And we kind of made it clean, so it could just be another tool in your marketing toolkit.
Very cool.
It's actually really cool. I would love to see something like that on our website. I mean, because I am one of those people who does feel, I don't know if it's necessarily pressure. It might be in some cases when you can see, for instance, Etsy. Etsy's huge, used to be just like people selling their crafts. But you can find everything on there now. It's not just crafts. There's a lot of different things on there, but it does show you the quantity that's on hand, and it shows you how many people have it in their cart, which is crazy because sometimes it's 1 and then 20 carts, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I need to buy it now. But you know, even with hotels and flights, like this many people are looking at this right now, you feel the urgency. But then when I have seen, like what you're explaining, what Engage is like, I'm really interested to see it as well, because for me, the urgency comes with just wanting to know. I want to know what other people know. I want to discover new things. And I do like sometimes I feel like I am an early adopter sometimes when new things come out and I want to jump on it really quick and be one of the first ones, because I can be a really huge fan when I want to be. But if I want to know everything, and I want to be treated special, and I want to have the inside knowledge, and then I will tell everyone literally that they have to do it also. So that's really cool.
Yeah, we were talking about building fan bases. You know, I've never seen anyone else go, you know, I saw you might have been looking at a hotel, but you know, hey, like I saw your name on the landscaper's website there. Like, oh yeah, it came out. Like, it starts those conversations. So
Mhm.
while we believe it's going to lead to like almost an immediate call to action, it may just be that little bit of standing out between brands that'll get people talking about you. So, you know, if they're on one website and they have kind of what's presented on the website, and they have another one, which, you know, it has what the company's put out there, but now has a real person that is saying these words, and it's not from a copywriter, and, you know, it's almost unfiltered in a sort of way like that. And it adds a little bit of, you know, here's a quick click to show a second opinion, a third opinion. You know, I'm telling you why we're good as a business, but here's someone that just did it right there. So again, with Nice Job and everything we kind of design is we want it to be easy on both ends. And, you know, someone leaves a simple review and you're going to be able to automate that out, put it in your social media feeds, now put it on your website. We already have a widget that will show reviews as a whole. But now with Engage, it's no matter what page they're on, they don't have to click through the review page to see great things about your business.
Very cool. So how can people get it? Do you just go to the website, Nice Job?
Yeah, so if you're already a Nice Job user and you're watching that, you actually can just go on the product setting tab within your app. You'll see it there. But you also just go to get.nicejob.co. You'll see under the products there, Engage, and you'll be able to kind of sign up there. So we take some, we get your business information, so make sure we're getting kind of the right review. So you connect your review site, you know, so we have it kind of going up there. Then it's a quick copy paste, you know, into your website, give it to your web guy. If you have any questions, you're not quite sure, ask us. I was just helping someone the other day, not a Nice Job user, that wanted to add Engage, was having technical support. We got our team on it because, like I said, at a time like this, we want all our businesses to be going forward. That person may never ever sign up for a Nice Job, but I guarantee if he continues going his business and his community stays strong, that someone within there will probably eventually come to the Nice Job side of it. But it's very quick. You go to get.nicejob.co. You'll see it underneath there. The product's called Engage, and it's a quick sign up. I would say if it takes you any more than, you know, 5 minutes or so, you know, don't feel bad. Sometimes these things sort of happen, but we try to make it as easy so that within minutes, it's already making your website better.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you to you and the whole Nice Job. We'll put that in the comments so everyone can check that out and get that. So I love it.
Yeah, I know there's a direct link, but I think it might just be product/engage, but I just get.nicejob.co. We'll get you there enough, but we'll throw it down in the comments below to try to make it as quick as possible for you guys to get it. And again, you also could, you know, message me or, you know, message the Nice Job page or anything like that. We can point you in the right direction if you want some more information about, you know, what exactly it can do for you.
Awesome. Well, this has been fabulous. I think we've got some really good ideas going out there to give people hope and give them ways that they can keep the ball rolling in whatever way they can with their business and creating that fan base. So do you have any final comments or thoughts?
You know, I'll just say this, is that it's okay to not know what to do next. We, as, you know, Nice Job, you know, the marketing department and our, you know, our community efforts, we weren't quite sure where to turn. You know, in our user group, we've been having conversations with a lot of different people in a lot of different industries. You know, Michelle, as you said, like, you know, you guys from Jill's office and my colleague Curtis, and, you know, Kurt kept been doing some stuff. Like, everyone's kind of out and sharing. Community right now is what's going to get this through this. So whether it's kind of pulling resources or coming together. So don't be afraid as a small business to lean on your fan base, to lean on your customers. As long as you are caring about them and as long as you are true, honest, and genuine about what you are doing, you'll be okay. But just remember, you're an entrepreneur for a reason. So even as dark or as messy as it might get, you have that thing burning inside you that's going to have you go through. So, you know, it's okay to feel unsure, but you got this in you.
I love that. 100%. That was perfect. Do you have any other comments or thoughts, Nicole?
You know what, I don't, but there was so much good information. I really did enjoy it. Actually, I might have one little thing. I don't want it to carry too much over time. But real question, I think a lot of times our clients are curious about how you started in the very beginning talking about some of these, you know, bad reviews that people have left. I know everyone has seen some really bad responses from business owners in the past and some really good ones. Do you have any recommendation? I mean, you guys are the pros at you know, reputation management, on how to sort of address a review like that in these times?
Yeah, so I will say this: we have a couple of blogs that go into much like longer detail with it. But the advice I give, because sometimes the hardest review to respond to isn't necessarily the 1-star or the 5-star. It's that 3-star. It's that one kind of right in the middle. Sometimes it's the hardest to respond because you're not really sure where to go with. The first thing I would always say is respond to every possible review that you can. One, it gives you an opportunity when you put your reply. So like within the Nice Job app, you can reply directly there and it'll show up. It gives you a little bit of an opportunity to do some soft SEO. So I talk about like mention certain services or products that you do. It allows you to kind of get, your sort of mentality out there. But the other thing when it comes to responding to reviews is to actually connect and try to continue the conversation in some sort of way. So there's not like a review reply, then a review reply of that. But if it's a 5-star review, you want to say, hey, we appreciate being able to, do this sort of service. We're glad that you got our gold package, things like that. We're also glad that you let us know exactly how we're doing. We hope we're keeping up to your high standards. But it's our real pleasure to go forward. Like you don't want to formulaic it, but you want to get it so that ideally after they read it, they want to go, yeah, sure, no problem. That's great. Like they want to respond to it. And in a negative review, it's your opportunity to take that feedback and your response should be, hey, how do we get better? Like, how do we actually do this? And it doesn't need to be an inquisitive answer. It doesn't need to be a defensive answer. There may be a bad review that is completely unwarranted. It's a complete misunderstanding or sometimes a flat out lie. Well, you respond by saying, if that was the case, that's not something that we're about. And we want to figure this out. It's interesting. You said that we, that put our ladder on the wrong thing because I try to instruct all my technicians, the 7 points of ladder safety. So what you've done through that review is you say, you know what, I'm glad you told me this because that's not what we do on a daily basis. And that's not how I train. And as a customer reading that, you go, okay, maybe it was a bad day for the customer, or maybe they just kind of forgot, or maybe this feedback led to that technician being let go. So now it allows you to identify yourself. It's, if you ever watch like a court case, because I'm dumb to say it, like the cross-examination, they're all talking about the same exact event. And the questions seem to come from many different angles. So you don't need to be defensive. You need just to have conversation. So when responding to a bad review, responding to a good review, responding to that neutral review, be genuine, talk directly to the person that is responding, being fully aware that everyone else is going to be able to read it, but talk to them genuine and bring up what you do, why you do it, and who you are. And that is reputation building all around. So again, we think that if you have just 5-star reviews across the board, if you have 10 5-star reviews, or if you have 100 reviews and 10 of them might be 4.5s, chances are having more reviews and more depth of reviews is going to get you more business than having a clean, spotless, but small reputation. And that's why we at Nice Job try to get you as many reviews as possible, make it as easy for both yourself to get reviews, but the clients to leave reviews, because you want all feedback. If you're starting to get bad reviews over and over and over, you probably want to start evaluating what you're doing. So it's always good to have an open channel of feedback, and responding to it shows that you actually care about it, whether it's, relevant, non-relevant, or completely off base. It shows that you want everyone to know that works with your business, that they have the right to speak back to you and let you know what they thought, what they felt, and that you're not going to try to hide that or bury it, because you want to be honest and open, just like anyone else in your community you'd hope would be the same.
Awesome answer. Thank you so much for answering that. That's great.
Yeah. And sorry, I know you said you didn't want to go over time, and then I gave a really long answer.
Oh, no, it was all good for us. I don't want to go over your time, but no, I think that's really helpful, because I know that's a challenge when you're the business owner, because you take those things very personal. And my word of advice for that is don't respond like right in the heat of that emotion. Think it through and think about your response, because I have seen those 3-star reviews, and I have seen business owners respond very well with, I'm sorry you feel like you had a 3-star experience. What can I do so that your next experience is 5 stars? That's kind of just saying, I know you're coming back another time. What can I do to make it better that next time around? So that's really cool.
And I would also say, I know it takes a bit more time, but try not to have formulas for your responses, even on the positive ones. Everyone on 5-star responses will be like, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Like, can't wait to service you again. Be specific, and that will make more of a personal connection. And again, a little bit like the marketing side of it is, you absolutely can use that stuff for SEO powers. Mm-hmm. You can use it as kind of little soft ads in between. So talk specifics. When I talk about when people leave review, you want them to be detailed. Maybe they're not. Maybe they say, oh, that's great. And then you can say, hey, we always love coming out to your place where you have that, that 18th century corner window. And then if I'm searching for a business to clean my windows and I realize I have that same difficult job, and now this is a, personal story about it, that's going to be make me more likely to find you and more likely to want to work with you because I know you've already done it. So personalize the responses as best you can.
Cool. I love that. I never thought about that with SEO. That's so smart. Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sean. We appreciate it. More about Nice Job. We appreciate you being here today and for all the great tips. So
No, we appreciate it. Stay safe, stay healthy, and remember to have a little fun.